Hi, in this video, I'm going to show you why emotional eating happens, and you might not need to fight it head on to be free of it. I'm Dr. Ginny. I'm a psychologist and a health coach. After decades of helping people change patterns that hold them back, now I focus on helping women over 50, smart, successful women who want to eat in a way that truly supports their best health, their weight, and well-being now and for many years to come. And along the way, we find something really unexpected happens with emotional eating, and I want to show you why. Emotional eating was a problem I felt like I could never escape until I realized I didn't have to fight it like I thought I did. Whether I was binging on salty, crunchy snacks or having something sweet at the end of the meal felt very important, or I was looking forward to a bottle of wine with relish. I had a lot of feelings that my food and drink had to be very, very special, that was the way I loved myself, that was my self-care. So the emotional attachments to food and drink started in childhood, and for many of us, they became a problem, right? We struggle to resist or manage these habits, and we might want to. So why might we want to change our emotional eating and drinking? We can be concerned about how it's affecting our health and our weight. Like I was 60 pounds overweight. It was like, this is out of control. What am I going to do about this? It was affecting my health. I developed prediabetes. Worst, I felt like I have a kind of sick relationship with food and with my body. I'm not happy about it and I feel out of control. I said I wasn't going to have this, and then I have it. I remember feeling so out of integrity with myself. This isn't me. I'm someone who says I'm going to do something and I do it, and that's not working when it comes to emotional eating. So whether you just want to know that you have better control over yourself, you want to improve your results as far as health and weight, you want a better relationship with food, to feel at home in your body, you want to trust and respect yourself, these are some reasons we might want to change this. We make these little promises to ourselves, right? I'm just going to have one. I'm just going to have a little. I'll make up for it tomorrow. We give ourselves these limits and then we feel bad when we break them. I remember just feeling miserable about it day after day after day for years. Well, giving ourselves limits like this doesn't work well for three big reasons. First, it's a strategy that's fighting against how our brains and our bodies work. So first is our biology. The foods and drinks we tend to turn to when we're emotional are often foods and drinks that particularly activate the brain's reward centers. They really give us a big hit of dopamine, a big hit of pleasure. And when that happens, it marks the food or drink as important. This is important. Neurochemically, we feel like, oh, that's important. I didn't want to feel like these things were important, but that's what happens when they give an extra hit of pleasure. When you're trying to moderate something that hijacks your neurochemistry like that, whether it's cigarettes or alcohol or drugs or certain foods and drinks, you're pitting yourself against your own body. It's a big uphill battle and it's exhausting. So there's the biology issue. There's also a psychology part of the equation, right? So many of us learned early on that we can use food or drink for celebrating. We learned that eating or drinking something distracted us when we were upset. It feels comforting to turn to something that's always available, that we've always turned to when we feel upset. Every time we did that, and it's been thousands of times by now, those emotional associations get hardwired into habits. That's why they feel so hard to break. So there's our biology, there's our own psychology, and there's social and environmental factors that also play a huge role in our emotional eating, right? We live in a culture that tells us we should never be uncomfortable or unhappy. Something's wrong with us if we're unhappy. We should do something to make that go away. We should buy something, right? Cookies, wine, cake. As I gained weight, I was buying more clothes, trying to look good. I was buying more jewelry. There's always something to buy. So our environment is full of things we can buy that are extra pleasing, low nutrition food and drink options that are constantly available, that are constantly marketed to us, trigger, 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 trigger. And they're often addictive. They have addictive properties and we have a hard time resisting them or moderating them. We learned that food and drink are the easiest thing to turn to when we're having uncomfortable emotions. So I want you to know this is not some kind of individual failure on your part. This is a problem that most of us are dealing with now. It's the default setting these days that we eat for emotional reasons, right? We're in this perfect storm situation with an environment and a culture that hijacks our own brains. That's why we found it hard, but it doesn't have to turn out to be as hard to change this as you might have thought. So let me share a 3-part solution with you. First of all, you have to know this can be changed. These are habits and they can be changed with the right approach. First, start with curiosity. You don't want to go in with this judgment and this self-criticism and this sense of control. I got to put rules on myself. Just be curious. Notice what's happening. Don't judge yourself. What did I just say to myself? One of the things I noticed was when I felt like, oh, I wasn't going to have this tonight, but I am going to have this tonight. And I'm frustrated with myself. I thought, okay, just notice what you're thinking and feeling. And I kept hearing this phrase going through my mind, I deserve this. I deserve this. What am I saying? What am I telling myself? This is a great and wonderful treat, and because I love myself, I'm going to give myself this. There was a whole bunch of meaning under that wasn't maybe serving me, but I had to first notice it. So you have to start with awareness and curiosity, not judgment. Use compassion, right? So that's the first part of the solution. Second part is pause, right? I tried saying, I'm not going to eat or drink those things tonight. I'm just going to eat healthy tonight. Just tonight, I'm taking a break. And I let myself down. I violated that agreement with myself over and over and over. And I felt dumb. And I felt like, where's the Ginny who has tons of integrity, who does what she says she's going to do? What happened to her? So I told myself, okay, you're not getting there by just giving yourself this rule. So instead of doing that, tell yourself you can have the stuff, but you have to take 10 minutes to just identify what you're thinking and feeling and saying to yourself, and just write it down, and then you can eat and drink the things. So pause and name what you're really feeling. Are you feeling anxious, bored? Are you feeling lonely, unappreciated? Are you feeling frustrated, irritated, angry? Feelings give us clues for how we can make our lives better if we just listen, right? Have you been running away from certain feelings lately? Can you identify some of the kinds of feelings you've been running away from? Comment below if you have one of those experiences, because it helps to share with each other. The third part of the solution is to choose nourishment that respects your whole self, that respects reality. It might mean you need more actual real food. It turns out that most of us are undernourished in these times, no matter how much we eat, because our food environment is so distorted. When you choose nourishment that respects you, your whole self, it might mean you need significantly more real, actual, highly nourishing food. It might mean you need rest, or you need more time with friends. Or it might mean simply leaning into what you're feeling and asking yourself, what does this mean? If I'm mad, does it mean someone is violating my boundaries? Is there something I need to solve? So focus on finding something truly nourishing for you that feels good and respects your best self and your best life. So these 3 steps can open the door to change. You're not having to force anymore. You're not hitting the emotional eating head on. You're taking better care of yourself. You're finding a new path with compassion and awareness. This works because when you start consistently giving your body and mind what they truly need, both nutritionally and emotionally, emotional eating starts to feel out of place. It just doesn't really fit anymore. Now, I've heard this a lot from people who are doing Simply Wise Eating. They'll say at some point, I haven't been doing any of that emotional eating anymore, and I didn't try to change it. It just doesn't fit anymore. If this makes you want to learn more about how to eat in a way that's wise, nourishing, and emotionally grounded, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm also leaving a link in the description to a video that shares how Simply Wise Eating changed everything for me and how I've seen it change the lives of hundreds of other people. It's not going to give you another plan to follow, although I have that if you want that. It's going to show you what it feels like when this kind of change really starts to take root. that might be all the encouragement you need to step onto a new, simpler, more natural path. So that's it for today. Remember, keep it simple, keep it wise, and keep your spark alive.